Justin Tucker, who had one of the great seasons in the history of the sport by a kicker last season, unanimous first-team All-Pro, and he will boot it away from his own 35-yard line. Alex Erickson led the league in kickoff return yardage last season, takes a knee, and Andy Dalton will take over from the 25-yard line. He hit last year. Certainly missed so many of his key offensive weapons, and the first play from scrimmage is whistled dead, and this will be a false start.
False start, number 11, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Due to a number of injuries, ankle and back among them, is back. That pass from Dalton is a dart, and it is complete right around the 25-yard line. A pickup of 5 to the backup tight end, Tyler Croft. For the Ravens, 2nd and 10. One play called here. This is Jeremy Hill. Little juke maneuver, crosses the 35, out close to the 40. A pickup of a dozen.
And need to be able to run the football.
Another run play called to Hill. Taking on tacklers is, here's Jeremy Hill. On 2nd and 9, Dalton feels the pocket start to collapse. This is where he struggled last year.
Loves the way they could push the pocket inside.
Where does Dalton go here on 3rd and 9? Under pressure, and he's set. You see the late marker coming. It was Smith again, able to get Dalton around the ankles as he was coming
Holding,
heavy.
Number 70, offense, penalties decline, 4th down.
They're going to have a pretty tough test against the Baltimore Ravens. Not a good start for Obuehi.
And Kevin Zeitler, their right tackle last season, their best offensive lineman in terms of production. This is Campanaro, muffed it for a moment and is able to recover. One play called, and Terrence West loses his footing. 2nd and 11, some pre-snap movement as the flags whistle the play dead.
Encroachment, 92, defense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
He is out, still recovering from the dislocated elbow, so Clayton Fedulum making his first career start. This is West taking on tacklers, and it looks as though he will have enough. Officials say first down. Hard run for West. Play action from Flacco on 1st down. He's got good time to throw. This is West out of the backfield, and again we do get a penalty marker, this time in the Cincinnati secondary.
Holding, number 27, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Flacco will work under center from just inside Cincinnati territory. One play called again to West as we go back downstairs to Melanie. In any kind of environment. So 2nd and 9, Flacco from the gun. Under pressure, steps up in the pocket, throws, and he completes. This is Danny Woodhead, one of his newer weapons. That'll be a Ravens first down. Buck Allen now the lone setback as they go deep into their backfield already. And Allen going nowhere. Good push up front by George Iloka.
Vincent Ray has been a good backup when he's had a chance to play.
You saw Paul Gunther, their defensive coordinator. This is Woodhead again out of the backfield. He's had little to no practice time with Flacco in this offense. One play called. This is West trying to find the edge inside the 15-yard line. Another marker is thrown. Back at the line of scrimmage, it's a pickup of 8 by West.
It's either Ryan Jensen, the center, or
Holding,
Ronnie Stanley.
number 66, offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
In a big spot today against Cincinnati. 1st and 20 after the penalty. Flacco to the airways, near side. He completes. That's Brashad Perriman.
I think it's going to be a big part in this game. No Sean Williams, so expect a safety rotation here for the Bengals secondary.
Flacco still perfect, 4 of 4 to start. This is Macklin. Flacco from the gun on 3rd and 8. What a catch by Woodhead, spinning as he makes what appeared to be a one-handed catch. Stamp on this first half. 1st and 10 from just outside the 10. Flacco throwing end zone, and it's broken up. Only his 4th career start. 11th play of the drive for the Ravens. This is Woodhead on the take. You see Woodhead lining up in the slot. 3rd and 6. Flacco's pass will fall incomplete. Tucker nearly flawless last season. And he is perfect on the chip shot field goal. So the Ravens and Justin Tucker, the 25-yard chip shot field goal to get the party started. Tucker boots it away from his own 35, and this is Erickson and he'll take a knee. Ravens confirming it is indeed the hamstring, and his return is doubtful. This is Joe Mixon, the young man out of Oklahoma. As we go downstairs, get more on Woodhead with Melanie. H-back in motion. This is Dalton under pressure again, and he was coming straight up the middle. This is Mixon out of the backfield.
Boy, I couldn't soak up all the drool that the coaching staff had when talking about Mixon.
This is Mixon again fighting some daylight. Second down and short here as Mixon pays the price, and we asked Marvin Lewis.
A sensational running back and part of the offense.
Third and short, Dalton trying to lunge for the first down. They needed the 45 here. Dalton getting some extra help from his mates, and there the late flag coming in high right at the end of that play as Dalton loses his hat.
Foul, grasping face mask number 57, defense, 15 yards from the end of the play, first down.
Dalton to the airways. That pass is deflected and intercepted. It's picked off by Brandon Carr. And what a way to get his Ravens career off and running.
Trying to get A.J. Green here on a slant, but the Baltimore Ravens linebackers are so good at recognizing play action pass. That's the former undrafted linebacker, Patrick Owasso, who recognizes the pass, gets back into his coverage lane, gets his hand on the football, and then the veteran Brandon Carr.
With all those, certainly on those in South Florida dealing with Hurricane Irma. Run play called here as the Ravens get the football back. This is Terrence West. And they feel like Owasso is going to be huge for them this season as he plays behind Kamale Correa. More penalty flags thrown here. We've seen a bunch of markers in his first half.
Number 79, offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Already 6 combined penalties between these two teams. Second and long. Little back foot throw by Flacco, finding his tight end. See if the Ravens want one more play here before the end of the quarter. Does it look as though they will snap it, as that will take us to the end of the first. We begin the second quarter. Good pickup and pass protection by the Ravens front, but Flacco's pass sails a little bit low, intended for Macklin.
Down at his feet, but the third and mediums is what they want to avoid.
Sam Cook on to punt for the first time today, and Erickson, you see, signal for the fair catch. A tough result, stomping grounds here in the Queen City. First and 10 for Dalton and company. One play called here. Mixon trying to find the edge. Nice pursuit, and you see a late penalty marker at the end of that play. Jimmy Smith, the man who was able to rip him to the turf. There is an injured Raven down at around his 7. Just to retire at the end of last
Personal
season
foul,
with the spine and neck injury.
face mask, number 25, offense. Half the distance to the goal, still first down.
Scored it off the field earlier, first and 14. Sort of play action fake from Dalton's going to throw on a run. What a play as he connects finally with A.J. Green. Injury week 11 last year against Buffalo, as he was having one of the best seasons of his career. One play called. This is Bernard, who had the catch earlier and then called for the face mask penalty. A long postseason drought for the Bills continuing in Western New York. Here's Dalton, second and 8, back to the airways over the middle, and that is caught. That's Green again.
Time you saw him line up inside in the slot, matched up again with soft coverage, and comes down with a catch.
Little 14-yard play. This is Bernard showing the wheels inside Ravens territory. A pickup of 24 yards on the burst.
You see the speed when he gets to the next level.
Officially 23 yards in the burst as they keep it on the ground here with Bernard.
Was not available, and so it was a very tumultuous time for him last year. But it also gave a lot of young guys some valuable reps.
On third and 6. Quick strike over the middle. That's Brandon LaFell. First down, catching more.
Quick strike timing that Andy Dalton has been so good at.
See Ken Zampese, their offensive coordinator, pick up the pace. This is Green. Nice little slant over the middle.
A lot of seams in that Ravens defense.
And keep it on the ground here. This is Bernard.
Eifert up here on the backside of slot. That's a great formation to take work on the safety.
One play called by Zampese. This is Bernard. So Dalton from the shotgun on third and 7, throwing end zone, and it's intercepted. What a play by Mosley. Mosley still looking for extra yardage out across the 25. A massive play. That torn Achilles.
This is all about IQ. C.J. Mosley, right on the snap of the ball, he goes exactly where the pass play is designed to go. A perfect drop inside, waiting there. He goes up. Guy that had a career high 4 interceptions a season ago, his second Pro Bowl.
Flacco works from the gun here. Under pressure, will throw it near side of the field. What a play just to get it to his intended target. That was Benjamin Watson.
C.J. Mosley.
Pro Football Focus has him certainly in the top quarter of NFL linebackers in coverage specifically. And where does Flacco go here on a 3rd and 6? He is sacked! 4th round in 2010, most by an interior defensive lineman during that stretch. This is Alex Erickson trying to run it back from just inside his own 30, able to get close to the 40-yard line. This to be in the Queen City. Spiro Ditas, Adam Archuleta, Melanie Collins, rest of our CBS crew. As Andy Dalton and company back onto the field, this is Jeremy Hill. As all 3 of these Bengals backs doing some nice work in this first half. You see Marker come in late, and now Hill.
Russell Bodine.
74 offense, 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Nixon takes his place. This is Dalton now going back to the airways. That pass behind the intended receiver, LaFell.
And now the offense not really able to find its rhythm.
Dalton on 2nd and long. This Crowder's quieted down for this offense as they maneuver down the field. Dalton's going to take a shot. Had Green wide open, and he missed him. Back in 2016, a special teams guy for the most part till this point. I know Dalton missing a couple of uncharacteristic throws at the end of that possession. Kevin Huber. Flacco under center. One play, this is West. His first 5 passes. It was one of his last 5. Little pitch play here to West. Taking on tacklers. He's a good, strong downhill runner. Play action from Flacco. Is going to throw on the run. Out of the backfield, he throws to the tight end. That's Nick Boyle. West comes off the field here. Buck Allen now their lone setback from their own 49. Quick little stutter step drop. This is Allen. Inside Bengals territory, you see the flag come in late.
Holding, number 86, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
On 1st and 16 after the penalty. Looks like the same play call as Allen is buried. Experts, Marshall Yonder, the best guard in football. And Atkins went right around him that time. Flacco throwing a bullet over the middle as they move just inside Cincinnati territory. That's Mike Wallace on the catch. Flacco 8 of 12, 73 yards to this point. Quick strike over the middle, 1st down and more. Jeremy Maclin to the house. Touchdown Ravens. 48 yards on the catch and run from Flacco.
Flacco on the same page with Maclin, and look at the trash that Darqueze Dennard has to fight through. He's the one who's responsible for covering Jeremy Maclin, but you see a great pick inside by Benjamin Watson. Dennard takes a poor angle, no safety in the middle of the field, and it's off to the races.
As Adam takes us back to the touchdown.
Yeah, perfectly done. Great pick by Ben Watson, but where this Darqueze Dennard goes wrong because he did not get over the trash. You cannot go in the back door, especially when you know there is no safety in the middle of the field. Get over the top, make your tackle, but a bad angle.
The former Pro Bowler in Philly back in 2014, trying to resurrect his career.
I think Jeremy Maclin is looking for the same kind of resurrection that Mike Wallace had when he came here last season.
Right. Wallace back to 1,000-yard receiver last year. It was a terrific opening year with the Ravens. Alex Erickson gang tackled right around the 10. Touchdown celebration a little bit prematurely, but Maclin was able to get there. Still had the wheels to get into the end zone. This is Bernard trying to find the edge, and timeouts left. As Dalton works from the gun on 2nd and 7. That pass deflected high in the air, and it is intercepted. Second pick for Dalton.
Well, here's Terrell Suggs. Not only is he great at getting to the quarterback, but this is all about football IQ. He knows right now that Dalton's trying to get the ball out of his hands quickly. And this has been something that the Ravens did extremely well in the preseason, knowing that
Second pick thrown by Dalton off of deflections in this game. 3 in all. Sets up a 1st and goal. Run play call. This is West into the end zone for the Ravens. Touchdown. And Baltimore putting it on the Bengals late in this first half. As you see the deflection here off of the hands and helmet of Terrell Suggs, and look at Webb, almost like a kick returner waiting for that thing arch to come down.
Well, it was a great call because Dean Pease didn't sit back and play passive. He sent Lardarius Webb on a blitz from the slot, and he was in perfect position to get the interception.
Without doubt, you spot this defense a 17-point lead potentially here. They'll feel pretty good about their chances. Tucker on for the point after. So 3 first-half interceptions by Dalton, 2 off deflections. 10th career rushing touchdown for Terrence West. So 14 points in 24 seconds for the Ravens to get them a 17-point lead. Dalton to the airways, and that pass is deflected. As this offense still looking for its first points. On 2nd and 10, little delayed handoff taken by Bernard. And despite the 3 timeouts, it looks like they'll be content. Dalton on 3rd and 5, under pressure, and he is buried. And it goes from bad to worse for the Bengals. Can get to the quarterback. And he was waiting for Andy Dalton. Kevin Huber punting it away, and this is Michael Campanaro off the far sideline. Nifty little return as he crosses the 35 and gets close to the 36. So the Ravens will have 1 timeout here.
Really setting the table for everybody else on the outside.
And the Ravens will just run out the remaining time here. Won't take any chances. Buck Allen on the take to get into the range of Justin Tucker as Harbaugh takes his final timeout. Tucker's career long is 61 as that Flacco pass is incomplete off the hands of Brashad Perriman. Flacco on a 3rd and 3. This is Allen out of the backfield. Breaks the initial tackle, and they'll get Tucker a lot closer, but there is a marker thrown at the end of the play. Right in front of that Ravens sideline.
Jensen
Holding,
the center.
number 66, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Make a mistake and give Cincinnati a cheap one here.
So it looks like they'll just run it out. And as Allen able to find some daylight, so the Ravens are out of timeouts.
Lack of chemistry, or quite frankly, the poor decisions by Andy Dalton on some of those interceptions have been pretty nasty for Bengals.
And locker room. So 1st and 10, Flacco and company from their own 25. A quick little misdirectional handoff here that's taken by the wide receiver. That's Michael Campanaro.
The main thing is they connected on the one that counted. That was the 48-yard strike to Jeremy Macklin.
Full start, number 74, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
And about 36 days in all with that lower back injury, the tightness that he described. That pass is deflected. Was it picked?
Yep.
Intercepted by Nick Vigil off a deflection.
This is a pretty athletic move by Carlos Dunlap, who lined up at the left defensive end spot. He was looping all the way around to the right side. At the very last moment, he gets his right hand up, and what a play. That's exactly, I don't know if he got his hand on the ball, but just his sheer presence in that throwing lane disrupted the concentration of Terrence West, who had to go behind his body to get that ball, and what a heads-up play by Nick Vigil.
We're committed on the day by the Ravens. Short field given to Dalton and company here. This is Jeremy Hill. Saw him limp off the field late in the first half. Dalton on 2nd and 7. Little underneath pass. This is Hill. Where does Dalton go here on 3rd and 8? Going to deliver a strike near side of the field. First down play and more. That's Tyler Boyd, the second-year target out of Pittsburgh. First and 10 from inside the 15-yard line. One play called here. This is Hill.
Much of an excuse with the guys that they have on the field.
So the defensive coordinator, Dean Pease, on the sideline. Dalton, 2nd and 8, all day to throw. Nowhere to go, 2 with the football. Finally locates Green. And forced out of bounds by Terrell Suggs there. Dalton, pump fakes for a moment, and the football is loose. That's a live ball, say the officials. Who's got it? And it's Ravens football.
Well, it shows you right there, Terrell Suggs. He has been so good at so long, not only going in for the sack, but you see the instincts to grab the right arm by Dalton, and another stellar play by the Baltimore defense.
When company take over, up 17-0 and in complete command here in Cincinnati. One play, this is West. Taking on tacklers, inches close to the 20 field. Suggs says still gets anxious for opening day, his 15th in what has been an incredible NFL career. Isn't it 11? And it's been a different story today till this point. Pitch play. This is West. First down and more. Here's Buck Allen. Here's the lone setback. Allen takes the handoff. And that was really one of the question marks as you see a penalty marker come in behind the play. Could this Ravens offense finally get their running game going?
Personal foul, grasping the helmet opening on the defense, number 99. 15-yard penalty, first down.
It's Andrew Billings.
Turn it over 2 times inside the 10-yard line. It's going to be tough to beat anybody in the NFL.
High snap, another run play called. And
football team around that, and then that in turn allows Flacco to do what he does best.
Now this running game really starting to churn out some tough yardage to get the NFL season off and running. 3rd and short. Ravens 4 of 7 on 3rd downs today.
A line that needs all the help they can get this second half.
Melanie, you're right. Of course, the 2 new tackles on their offensive line from last season is this is West bouncing to the outside. This will be a 9th play of the drive that began at their own 12. One play to Allen. Keeps those legs churning. A pickup of 4 here. Javaris Allen, the lone setback. Little delayed handoff. This is Allen lunging forward for the Ravens first down.
Fine, taking advantage of an aggressive defense.
This is the 11th play of the drive, and all 11 plays have been runs. 2nd and 10, Flacco under center from just inside the Cincinnati 35. Another run play called, and
if they want to get off the field,
this will be the first pass of the drive on the 13th play. Late marker comes in. The intended receiver was Macklin.
Pass interference, number 22, defense. While we place at the spot of the foul, first down.
Trying to take over some of those snaps they're losing with the suspension of Adam Jones. So fresh set of downs for the Ravens, just
run over on the other side of the 50, and you cannot capitalize on points. That is almost as deflating as it gets.
From that psychologically, as Dalton and Lewis look on. Second, will make it 3rd and short. Flacco trying to throw off his back foot under heavy pressure. It was Carlos Dunlap coming with the heat. Now another flag thrown on the defensive side of the field.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 59, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They're pretty tight call.
Flacco, play action, his pass towards the end zone is batted down and incomplete. Able to bounce right back up off the turf. Little pitch play here on 2nd and goal. This is West trying to find the edge, inches close to around the 7. Both on 3rd down plays on this drive. You see the possession now over 9 minutes for Flacco and company. Play action as he is crunched.
He's going to react, but he'll feel it tomorrow, no doubt.
So here's Justin Tucker, the unanimous first-team All-Pro kicker from a year ago. Hit from 25 earlier, and he's good from 25 yards out. Get an update from Melanie as quickly as we can as this kick from Tucker booms through the back of the end zone. And Andy Dalton, desperate for their first points, will have it from the 25 next. 20-0 to the Ravens. A little play action from Dalton to get the drive going. This is Brandon LaFell.
But you're going to have to try to find a way to steal a possession.
Dalton, little play action fake. Trying to find Green. Where does Dalton go here? On a play they have to have. That one right through the hands of the intended receiver. So here's Kevin Huber, who has become a busy man. On to punt it away from his own 20-yard line. Michael Campanaro backpedaling. He's going to play it from around his own 16. Marker comes in behind the play. Campanaro spinning away from trouble as he crosses the 30 and gets out close to the 32.
Get a block in the back by the wide receiver,
During the
Chris
return,
Moore.
holding, number 10, receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Kane Harvey. So Flacco checked out, cleared by the medical people. Hand off here to West. Here in the Queen City, it's been all Ravens till this point. This is West breaking that initial tackle, inches close to the... And everyone doing their jobs. Flacco quickly cleared, and here he is under center. Handoff taken by Allen.
Right, so let's see what Paul Gunther comes up with here as they try and desperately get off the field.
That play clock getting to 0. This will be on the
Play of the
Ravens.
game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Ravens.
Well, if you're John Harbaugh, that was pretty. That's what he wants to see, this running game trying to resurrect itself after a couple of really down years in Queen City today. Sam Cook back onto the field. Haven't had to call his name much today. This is Erickson going to play it. Dances right across the 30, but then he is going backwards. So 45 yards and a punt by Cook. See if the Bengals try to speed things up here. Quick strike underneath. This is Mixon out of the backfield, and potential for how good this Ravens secondary could be. This is Dalton on 2nd and 6, and he is buried again.
Giving Obuehi any help on number 55 all day.
Dalton throwing a dart, and that is caught. That's Green spinning away from trouble. Green looking to cut back. Stiff arms a man, and he is out of bounds just inside the 45-yard line. First big play from Green today. Biggest offensive play of the day for the Bengals. Dalton on first down is going to take a shot. Looking in the direction of his man near side of the field. That's Cody Core.
Hey, be ready for me to come back.
His precious second start coming off the clock here. This is Mixon trying to cut back, breaking the initial tackle.
Inside on the slot.
2 down territory, Adam?
Oh, no question.
Running out of time here. Already down to 2 timeouts. Dalton's pass incomplete. I have to say I'm stunned here. With under 10 minutes to play, finally you're inside Ravens territory. Adam, the big play from A.J. Green, yet Marvin Lewis electing to punt. 9 and change left in his 4th quarter. Little pitch play from Flacco to Terrence West. Able to bounce his way outside, and Bengals with only 177 yards of total offense till this point. And Flacco and company in no hurry to snap the football. And they will take a delay of game here.
Delay of the game, offense.
That'll be the
5-yard
second
penalty.
such infraction against the Ravens. That's the tight end Boyle in motion. Here's West. Showing a nice little burst today. West.
Football, major emphasis. Greg Roman. So, you know, whoever is playing running back here for the Ravens, talk about elite quarterbacks, that there are that many quarterbacks that can consistently win if you're throwing 35, 40 times per game. You have to have some sort of balance in your offense.
And the Bengals running out of clock. Still looking for their first points. This is Dalton over the middle.
Baltimore defense just that good.
A free runner going right at Dalton, so he had to hurry. It's intended for Brandon LaFell. Marker comes in.
Illegal use of hands, hands to the face, number 24 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Tackle Cedric Obuehi. That was has been an unfair matchup all afternoon.
This is Eifert, who has been awfully quiet. Another marker thrown behind the line of scrimmage.
Holding, number 74, offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
This game in particular just hasn't looked in sync, whether it's Dalton to Green or to his running backs coming out of the backfield. The precision and coming together just hasn't been there.
Gio Bernard finally making a huge play for the Bengals.
He as good as any back in the league.
So few big plays for them. Dalton's going to go towards the end zone. That pass is incomplete.
That is kind of Palomalo-esque in lining up all over the field.
Dalton is nearly sacked. Well, how did he escape Suggs that time? Spins away from trouble. Looking down the field, everyone covered, and he is forced out of bounds at the 20. The word jump. 3rd and long here. Dalton delivering a strike. It's Brandon LaFell on the catch. Dalton on 4th and 5 under pressure. Here they come again. Trying to buy himself some extra seconds, and he will throw it out of the back of the end zone.
Against a pretty talented core, especially A.J. Green has done a tremendous job of getting Dalton no options.
2 of their 4 turnovers are coming inside the Ravens' 10.
The inside linebackers, led by Mosley, have been absolutely outstanding.
Javaris Allen on another handoff from Flacco. Multiple flags come in.
Number 66, offense, penalties decline, 3rd down.
Now on paper, it looks to be a pretty complete group.
This is Allen again out past the 20. And Dean Pease back in his home state, as he has looked every bit the future Hall of Famer that he is. Sam Cook on to punt once again. This is Erickson, spun around and brought down at the 43.
Who is Spiro?
He's having fun. Stan White, also a radio analyst, and the former Baltimore Colt.
Illegal use of hands to the face, 96 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
He would like to be. In his mind, he still feels like he has a little ways to go, but as the season moves on, I see Ben Watson being a bigger part of this passing offense. And
3 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter. Back to Spiro and Adam.
All right, guys. The Bengals wish they had Boomer Esiason. And
another football team that plays great man coverage with a pretty tough front seven.
And that Dalton pass is intercepted. Jimmy Smith on the pick.
Route. I'm not exactly sure what Andy Dalton was thinking, but Jimmy Smith knew exactly what was coming and was perfectly positioned right into the throwing lane. I mean, absolute perfect position here with nowhere to throw the football.
4th interception thrown by Dalton. That is a career high
when he has been on the bench.
This play should take us to the 2-minute warning. Javaris Allen finally brought down by Dre Kirkpatrick. Since 2006, first shutout victory, that is. 3rd down run here by Javaris Allen.
He chose to take a silver lining approach, and I think that was the right attitude, because there's really nothing you can do about it but go out there and prepare and play the best you can.
Eminent organizations in the NFL has missed the playoffs each of the last 2 years. They take a big step today. The game didn't even last a half before they make a quarterback change. As Mixon spun around and going backwards. That's Patrick Ricard, who's trying to become the first 2-way player in the NFL in a number of years. A defensive lineman and fullback. And that the perfect final play for what we saw today here in the Queen City. For the Ravens, their first victory here since that 2011-2012 season, ending the long losing streak as they come to Cincinnati and shut out the Bengals 20-0.